It's Sunday, March 1st, and welcome to the Cafe of Curdled Words. It's time for Sunday Smorgasbord. Uh, First, we'll basically do the channel's health. We're up to 305 views. We've made 66 total videos. We had 45 views this week, second best week so far. 47 is still the best week, but we had 45 this week on only 7 videos. Usually I do 8 or 9, but this week I didn't really have an extra video to do, so I just did the 7. But 45 views, and we still have 4 subscribers. So the channel's health is like doing this boop, boop, boop. It's just level. It's not dead, because people are still watching some of the stuff, so it's not dead. If we ever get to a thing where you see only 7 views for the entire week, the channel's probably dead, because that means I've only watched the videos I've released. So, quickly we'll get into, I got a couple of topics. Sunday Smorgasbord is the Sunday show that I just talk about whatever I want to talk about, and sometimes it'll involve topics like the 2 topics today could be put as Easy Gamer or Van Ranten on sports, but they're not going to take long enough to take up a full show's worth. So I'm just going to kind of break it into 2 parts for Sunday Smorgasbord. First thing we'll talk about is the Lakers. The Lakers are 7-3 in their last 10 games. They've won 5 in a row, and they even beat the Spurs last night, 116-112, I think. Isaiah Thomas seems to be fitting in okay with that team. He had 21 points. Of course, it was on 6 of 16 shooting, which is around 30-some%. That's not good. It's not good. So, I mean, Isaiah Thomas is a guy, he launches up the ball whenever he gets it. Lonzo Ball did very well, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. Caldwell Pope, 18 points, 13 rebounds. That's 20 rebounds out of their guards. I don't know. What do the bigs hang out at the 3-point line and they let the guards rebound? I'm just not sure what's going on there and with the Lakers. But they've been winning, and they were winning a little bit before Lonzo came back. Lonzo did come back, which was good because I had heard some rumblings and some grumbly mumblies that it's like he might not play the rest of the season. They might shut him down and let him play next year. I was against that, and of course so were the Lakers because they put him back. So obviously those little grumblings were nothing. But it's nice to see that he's back because the team is playing well. They were playing well without him, but they're playing well with him again. And they're playing some very good basketball, which may be getting rid of Clark and Nance Jr. Clarkson and Nance Jr. Maybe that was a good thing. Maybe they just didn't quite fit with this team. Isaiah Thomas seems to be the one guy that just wants to launch it up. Lonzo doesn't really like to shoot, but he put a dagger last night. He nailed a 3-pointer and put a dagger in the hearts of the Spurs last night. Just hit, put a little move on, stepped over to the 3-point line, a little bit to left, boom, buried it. It was a beautiful shot. Of course, this shot is ugly, but it was a nice shot. But is this a sign of things to come for the Lakers? They're 7-3 in their last 10, 5 in a row, like I said. Is this a sign of things to come, or is this just a nice little run? They've gotten hot. Every NBA season has this. Usually every NBA team goes through a little bit of a run. For me, I think this is a sign. This is both. It's just a little bit of a run for them, and I think they'll cool off a little bit. I think the excitement of all playing together, maybe getting Lonzo back and everything, this will cool off, and they'll probably end the season 500. The rest of their games, they'll probably go roughly 500 along the way, maybe a little bit above. But this team still isn't ready yet to win. But it could be a sign of just how good some of these young players are. So next year, if they can, grab a couple of big name free agents, if they could grab, LeBron James and Paul George, that team could be a serious contender. But of course, I think if you put LeBron James on any team, they become a serious contender. So we haven't heard much out of LeVar Ball lately, which has been good. I think it's because he's stuck over in Lithuania. You don't hear as much from him. And because he can't really complain because the Lakers are playing pretty well, his kid's playing pretty well, everything seems to be on the up and up. There's no more grumblings about if the coach Luke Walton should go or anything. The team is playing very well. I mean, I don't. They're still 11th in the Western Conference, but the Western Conference is so tough. The eighth place team in the Western Conference is the Denver Nuggets, which is my team, and they're like 35-28 or something like that, or 34-28. And they're 28 or maybe 38. It's like, I can do this real quick. I'm going to find the standings because I want to get this right. But basically, the Nuggets right now are 35-28. They're only one game up on the Clippers for the last playoff spot. The Lakers are 28-34. That puts them about 6.5 out of that last playoff spot. They're probably not going to be able to leapfrog Utah and the Clippers because both of those teams are only 1 and 2 games respectively back of the Nuggets. But it's tight in the Western Conference. Between third place and eighth place, there's only a 2-game difference. Portland's in third place in the Western Conference, and they're only 2 games up on the Nuggets in eighth place, which is only 4 games up on 10th place. So do I think the Lakers are going to make the playoffs? No. And I don't think the Lakers want to make the playoffs this year because this puts them back in the lottery. They have a chance to get another pick. Hopefully they get, another decent top 10 pick-ish. I don't think they're going to get into the top 3. But stranger things have happened. So the Lakers, I think, it is both. They are having a nice run right now, but it is signs of things to come. These young players are playing very well together. You can get them a star in there at some point. They're going to play really, really, really well. This may be one of the few cases that it's like, you see something and people say, well, it's this or it's this. Well, it's both. So they're having a nice run, and I think this is a sign of what this team will be. And even without a star, I think this team will be vastly improved next season because a lot of these young players will get much better. I mean, they're just going to get better and better and better because there's a lot of talent on this team. If you look, you still have Kuzma, Randall, Caldwell Pope, Ball. These are all young players, very young players, and they're playing very well. So I think sign of things to come for that franchise. I think the Lakers are going to be turning it around here soon enough. Even if they don't get LeBron James, even if they only get maybe a Paul George, I think that there's potential there. And I still say Lonzo Ball is Rookie of the Year, even though he missed a big chunk of time. And I know Donovan Mitchell is shooting lights out, but Donovan Mitchell really is only a shooter. So Lonzo Ball can rebound, assist, and, well, not shoot as much, but he does 2 things better than Mitchell does. So I still stand by my Lonzo Ball for Rookie of the Year. But I don't have a vote, so I don't have a choice. So now we're going to move on to the next topic. This is basically racing franchises that have been kind of forgotten by the industry. Not necessarily by fans. We usually don't forget our favorite racing games or any racing games if we love them. But they are forgotten by the industry. So I'm going to show you a few of them, and we'll talk about why they haven't been around. So the first one we're going to start with is probably the oldest one, and one I haven't seen a game for in a long time. Ford Racing. This is the second one. I have the first one. It's like, I have the first one. It was on the original PlayStation. This was on the PlayStation 2. This had a lot of vehicles, but it was, I could let you look, 30 different Ford vehicles, but I can let you look at those graphics. Just if I can get you, look at how magnificent those graphics are. Those are on par with a PlayStation 1 game on the PlayStation 2. So, I have not seen another one of these. And even, I bought the original Ford Racing. It wasn't very good. I bought this Ford Racing. It wasn't very good. But it's one of those things, it's like, why can't somebody... Now you have even another, because this game was made way back. Oh, I wish my eyes weren't so terrible. Because you have old eyes, and you just wish you could see. Well, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just going to pause here to myself. Excuse me while I figure this out. 2003. The writing is really small, and my eyes are not good. So I should have put on my glasses. That might have helped. 2003. We haven't seen that franchise in 15 years. Unless there was a Ford Racing 3. If there was, please tell me. I'd get it, because then I could have the complete set. I think there was an off-road racing game that was dedicated to Ford. So I'm going to talk about a game real quick that I have already talked about in a previous series, Midnight Club. I loved Midnight Club. It was done by Rockstar. Great, great racing game, fun story, fun racing. But we have not seen this. I need to put on my glasses so that I can try to find these years on these. But we haven't seen. I mean, this is at least as on the 360, so it's a little bit newer. This didn't help at all because this writing is so small and my light is not working right, so there's no light over here to look. But I should have just looked this up before I did this. But the year was not on here. You gotta be kidding me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause completely here. I know I should be talking, but I really want to find the year on this and I can't. That's weird. Why can't I find the year? I've wasted like a minute. It's like, and you guys are sitting there going, say something. Don't just sit there like a lump. See, I can show you some pictures. Look at those pictures. They're beautiful. This game was so awesome. I mean, it really was. It was just so awesome. Why does everything have to be so tiny? Oh, I could show all that, but it's like all this. 2006, it looks like. So we haven't seen this. Yeah, 2006. 2008, I think, is when this one might have come out. So, I mean, they even had the Rockstar Social Club. So, I'm going to say 2006. We haven't seen another one. And the reason why we don't see another one of these things, of course, is because it's like Rockstar now only releases one franchise at a time. They're down to two. They only do Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto. And then they re-release old games like Noir or LA Noir and Bully, and they just enhance them. Move on to the next one, Test Drive Unlimited. There are rumors, little grumbly mumblies, that maybe this is coming back. They are going to make another one of these. Somebody, I guess, bought the rights to the name Test Drive Unlimited or Test Drive. This was not a great racing game. It really wasn't. In fact, I'll tell you, I spent most of the time in this game in the casino. It was an open world game, and the open world was pretty hurt. This came out before the Horizon series, and this open world was better than the first Horizon games open world. It was bigger. It was more. It just felt like more fun. There was more room to roam. If you saw a place to drive, you could drive to there. Whereas in the original Forza Horizon, you might see a place to drive and it was blocked by a brick wall or something to keep you away from it. That game, though, it was very floaty. Not as much fun. So the next game's Project Gotham. Project Gotham. I have 3 and 4. And you can see I paid a lot of money for both of these. $5 and $8. Now, I think some of the guys that made these games went to Playground Games. But this was done by Bizarre Creations and Microsoft Studios. These games were a ton of fun. In fact, these games have my favorite achievement. I think it's number 4. You play through the game, and there were kudos points. If you got 1 million kudos points, there was an achievement called Buy an Achievement. So when you got to 1 million kudos points, you went into the shop and you bought the achievement, and it would pop up. I still love it to this day. It's still my favorite achievement. Another series we haven't seen in a long time, Ridge Racer. Now this Ridge Racer, terrible. So you see a trend. The last games of these series are usually pretty bad, except for Midnight Club. Ridge Racer, I had the original one on the PlayStation. I played some of the other Ridge Racers. This one, I hated it. But usually when you reboot, you do a better job than on the last game, because by the time this came out, they had made a bunch of these. They were getting stale. I'm sure the people who were creating them were just getting bored with them. But now they'd be more re-energized, and I think the game could come out a lot better. And maybe you just reboot the first one and add a ton of tracks and a ton of weird cars. And that was part of the fun of it. The cars weren't real cars. They were all just cars they kind of created. So, are there any racing games that you think that have been forgotten that I haven't brought up? Go ahead and put them in the comments below. And to all the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.